In case you haven't noticed, today I will be talking all about turtles. This right here is Lulu. She is a yellow belly slider and she's pretty big. So today is very important because I feel like turtles are the most common pets that basically get neglected, and they get taken in because they're cute and adorable and everyone wants them, but they're actually very, very difficult to take care of and they are a lot of work. So it's very, very important to do your research before getting a turtle, and just to spread the knowledge for other people so that way they don't end up in horrible situations or just really, really sick and not properly taken care of. So again, turtles are cute. Like, everyone loves turtles. If you don't like turtles, you are probably a psychopath. They're so cute, they're so adorable. I mean, everyone, like, you look at it and you just want it, and that is what happens. So a lot of people just see turtles, especially the tiny little babies that are being sold, and they just automatically impulse buy them. And something that's really bad with impulse buying baby turtles is the fact that a lot of people that are selling them sell them illegally and sell them with bad information about the turtles and their care. A lot of times people sell their turtles in tiny little containers, and they think that they can just keep their turtle in that and that's all it needs to survive. Another thing that people believe is that if you keep a turtle in a small enclosure, it will not grow. That is very, very false. They're going to grow regardless of the size of the tank. So it's just something to keep in mind and make sure that you do your research before getting one. So with all of that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the turtle care and show you guys how I take care of my turtles. I currently have 3 turtles. I have a painted turtle. She was the very first turtle I had ever gotten. This yellow belly slider. And then I have an African side neck turtle. These turtles all seem to get along very well within their enclosure. A lot of people don't suggest cohabbing turtles because there can be aggression, and it's very important if you're gonna cohab turtles to have a huge, huge tank for them. They need a lot of space, so that way they can hide and get away from one another and feel secure and not stressed out from the other turtles in the enclosure. That being said, you may just have one small turtle, and basically you can get a smaller tank if you have a baby turtle. You always want to make sure that no matter what size tank that you have for your turtle, there's enough space for that turtle to swim around, to be able to exercise and relieve stress. These turtles are semi-aquatic, semi-terrestrial, so they need both a basking area as well as a lot of area to swim. When you're picking out a tank size, it's very important to make sure that your enclosure is big enough for your turtle. So a good way to figure that out is to make sure that there is enough swimming space, so that way the water is high enough basically that it is 2 sizes of the turtle shell. So this is Lulu right here. She doesn't like being held like this, so I'm gonna go quickly. So you want the water to be 2 sizes up for her to be able to swim. I would recommend just flat out getting a 50-gallon to start with if you just have one turtle. They just love to swim. It's what they do in the wild. You don't want to get an enclosure and not provide them enough area to swim, because it's very, very important for their health and well-being. Another thing to keep in mind is that turtles need a basking area. This is very, very important. So many people get turtles and do not provide them with a basking area, and this is very detrimental to their health and well-being. If they do not have that, they are going to get very, very sick and they will die. The basking area should include a heat source and UVB. Both are very, very critical to their health. They cannot be not included within a turtle setup. It's very, 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 very important. So the UVB is something that is very important, because the UVB is necessary for the turtles to be able to metabolize the calcium and vitamin D3. So without this, turtles will get metabolic bone disease and they will die. And they will die a very slow and painful death, and you do not want to have your turtle go through this. So get that UVB and make sure that it's in check. Another thing with UVB is UVB runs out after 6 months. The light will not just turn off, it will still light up, but the UVB is not as strong as it was in the beginning. So it is very important to write down the date that you put your UVB in, and then 6 months later, no matter what, you take that bulb out and you replace it with a new one. And that goes for all other reptiles as well. So turtles do need to bask not only to get that UVB, but they also need a heat lamp as well, because they need to be able to get the temperature needed, their hot spot, in order to digest their food. All of these turtles have the same requirements for the temperature, so that is why they all work very well in the enclosure that I have for them. They all need that hot spot of 90 to 100 degrees, which I accomplish with a 100-watt heat bulb source at the top of their enclosure. Another thing to keep in mind is that you do not want the turtle water to get very cold either, because that can also cause illnesses. It's very important to their health just to make sure that that water never goes below 70 degrees. In order to accomplish this, you can get a turtle heater that goes in the water and will keep everything nice and warm for them. Another thing that's very important with turtle water is that you need to make sure that it is dechlorinated. So I use ReptiSafe for all of my animals and it works perfectly fine and gets rid of the chlorine. When it comes to the diet for these aquatic turtles, they actually are omnivores, so they will eat a lot of plant matter as well as a lot of protein-based foods such as insects or bugs. They also love shrimp. You can feed them bloodworms. There's so many different things that these turtles eat. I have noticed that every single turtle that I have will have their preferences. So it's just important to give them a lot of variety. I'm gonna go ahead and show you everything that I feed my turtles because I actually have to feed them today. So you will get to see that. So for today's turtle menu, by the way, these are all of the feeders that I set up because as I mentioned, I feed them outside of their enclosure. So today I'm feeding them all of these different brands of pellets and there's just a lot going on, a lot of different vitamins and nutrients. You just want to make sure that they have everything that they need. Those can just go in the water. These ones over here are frozen, so you need to thaw them out before using them. So that is what I'm doing in this cup. I'm gonna dump this stuff in those enclosures and then we will feed them. So now it is time to feed these guys, and this is my little trick that I do. This is how you get turtles to come to you. Let's see who's coming first. Oh, we got two. All right, so this right here, this is Bubba. She is a painted turtle. Painted turtles are one of my favorite species of turtle. They are just so pretty, super colorful. This is Bubba, my very first turtle I ever got. So there she is. And then we will grab this little guy right here. He has the cutest face. This is Oberon. He is the African side neck turtle. And he is the picky eater. He primarily likes eating insects, so I'm gonna try to get him to eat his pellets and everything. He will most likely be going for those bloodworms. But then pretty much I will have to basically come back and feed him some crickets or dubias. And here is Lulu again. And she eats everything, which is why she's massive. So we will just go ahead and let all of these guys eat. So if you want to get a pet turtle, I highly recommend that you get one that is captive bred. There are so many turtles available on the market that you can get. Make sure that it's a healthy one that is not taken from the wild. Another thing that's very important, even if you just have one turtle, is just to make sure that there's a lot of foliage and plants in the water. Turtles do sleep underwater and they love to just like cuddle up with plants and just feel secure and safe and hidden away from predators. So it's very important to give them that in their enclosure. When it comes to substrate, some people use like sand and things. I prefer to use rocks. Something that's very important is to use rocks that are not small enough for your turtles to ever eat. You don't want them to eat that and get impacted. So use larger rocks that they cannot fit in their mouth, and then you should be good to go. It takes me at least a couple hours to clean out my turtle tank when I do it, and it is just really, really rough. You want to make sure that you have a great filtration system for turtles because they are messy. So through using a filtration system, and another trick that I do is I take my turtles out of the tank to eat. I do not feed them in their tank because they are messy eaters. It's best to take them out. I put them in little feeder containers so that way they can hopefully eat and possibly poop outside of their tank, and it just keeps it way cleaner. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm gonna go ahead and show you your enclosure and how I made it, and I hope that this is helpful. Just please, if you're gonna get a turtle, just do the research. If you're here, you've already done the first step, which is amazing. But if you know other people who just see a turtle and decide they want it, please make sure they aren't taking a wild caught turtle. It's very, very bad for them. And please make sure that if they're getting one from a pet store or wherever it may be, that they understand everything that goes into it, because turtles are so difficult. I mean, if you've cleaned a turtle tank, you know how hard, like that is commitment. Any turtle owner out there, like I applaud you. You are amazing. Like I know that you're the real deal, because turtles are so much work, and I feel you. I totally get it. So anyone that is not willing to put that work in should not get a turtle. Yes, they're cute, but there's so much work, they're so dirty, and they live 50+ years, so you're gonna have that animal for a very long time. A lot of people get turtles and then just toss them back out in the wild because they get sick of them and they realize how much work they are, they don't want it anymore. And that's really bad for the turtle. It's most likely gonna die because it's adapted to a life of being fed by humans. So just so many situations that should be avoided. I've seen so many turtles just not getting the proper care, that are so sick, that are just in tanks with hardly any water in it. It's dirty, they don't have a basking area, they don't have lighting. It is just so sad. If you're gonna get one of these animals, make sure that you can give it the best life that it truly deserves. So yeah, sorry about this rant. I'm like so turtle passionate. Turtles were the #1 thing that got me into reptiles to begin with. I love them, in case you haven't noticed. So I'm just gonna take a breather, calm down a bit, and I'm gonna show you how I feed my turtle in their enclosure. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day. So this is the turtle tank that I have. I got it from Goodwill from a friend for only 20 bucks. They estimated it to be about 75 gallons, but I think that it's much larger than that. It is just massive. So there's just like so much space to swim. It's so big. I don't even think it's doing it justice on camera here. But so here is the basking area that I set up, and it's just super easy. I went over how I built this in another video. All of this is just tied together with these things. I can't remember what they're called. Well, these plastic things. Someone tell me in the comments what those are called. Also, I forgot what this stuff is called, so that's really unhelpful, but this is like super cheap. You can get it at Home Depot, and you basically just line everything up. There's like a little crevice right here, and it literally just fits right in there, and it goes across, and then I just put this little mat. These are like the little reptile mats you can get at Petco, and then there's just some cork bark for them to stand on. I would like to deck this out more because it's so plain looking, but Lulu likes to eat all of the fake plants, so I have to just keep it pretty bare. The UVB is right here. It goes all the way across, and then this is the heat bulb fixture. It does not melt any of this. This is plastic, and it's totally safe. I have the deep dome, so perfectly safe, don't have to worry about it melting, and that's pretty much that. By doing this, you get a ton more. You can raise the water level all the way up, and they just have way more space to swim, so it just works out very well. Also, this is the filter I have. I don't know what it's called. Okay, I can see it right here. Tetra Whisper EX70. That's what I'm using. People ask me all the time what filter I have, and I just don't know. I literally just bought a random filter, but it does a great job. It works perfectly for this.